You know that feeling, right? An email lands from the higher ups announcing some new strategic direction or a system wide upgrade. And your first thought isn't excitement? Nope, it's that little knot in your stomach. Well, that friction, that resistance to change is a totally universal thing. So today we're going to unpack exactly why that happens and give you a real playbook to turn that resistance into agreement. And this quote it gets right to the heart of it. That feeling of resistance, it's not a bug, it's a feature of being human. Seriously, we are wired for the familiar. Change comes in and messes with our routines, our habits, even who we eat lunch with. And let's be honest, no buzzword-filled memo about synergies or optimization is ever going to magically make that discomfort just disappear. And that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, if you can't just lay out a perfect, logical argument and expect everyone to jump on board, what do you do? What's the alternative? How do you actually move forward when you're just met with this solid wall of no? Well, to get past that wall, we first have to understand what it's even made of. Because it's not just people being stubborn. That resistance is built on real, legitimate human concerns. So, what is really going on here? Okay, let's take a classic example. A brand new computer system is getting rolled out. The resistance you see isn't just about learning some new software. It's about the disruption of habit. All your muscle memory is suddenly useless. It's a loss of control. You suddenly feel like you don't know how to do your own job. It can even blow up social patterns, turning the go-to office expert into a total novice again. These are real human impacts, not just some irrational fears. And because those roots run so incredibly deep, leading change is never a sprint. It's a marathon. You can't just fire off an email on Monday and expect everyone to be totally bought in by Friday. It takes a deliberate, structured plan. This model from John Kotter really shows you the scale of that marathon. Now, don't worry, you don't need to memorize all 8 steps here. The big takeaway is just that leading change is a real project. You have to create urgency, build a team of champions, communicate over and over and over, and celebrate those small wins to build momentum. It's a project in human dynamics. Okay, so if change on that huge macro level is that complex, what do you do at the micro level? In that one-on-one conversation where you're just facing a hard no. This is where we pivot from managing change to the actual art of negotiation. And it all starts with understanding 2 completely different ways to approach it. This breaks it all down. On one side, you've got the power-based style. Think of it like a sledgehammer. The goal is to win, no matter what. The focus is on your fixed position, what I want, and the outcome is basically forcing the other person to give in. But on the other side, you have the interest-based style. Think of this like a set of keys. The goal is a win-win, the focus shifts to understanding the why behind what they want, and the outcome is solving the problem together. And this right here, this is the golden rule. Even if the other person comes at you with that power-based sledgehammer, your goal isn't to just find a bigger one. Your goal is to skillfully shift the entire conversation away from a fight over positions and into a collaboration about interests. The big question is, how do you do that? Well, thankfully, there's a playbook for exactly this. It comes from William Ury of the Harvard Program on Negotiation, and he developed this amazing 5-step method for turning confrontation into cooperation. Now, this isn't just a random list of tips, it's a sequence, and it always starts with managing your own reaction first. Only then can you move on to understanding them, and then finally to building a solution together. Let's walk through how this actually works. Oh, we all know this feeling. Someone makes an aggressive comment, they challenge your competence, and you feel that immediate rush of adrenaline. Your heart rate shoots up, your defenses go way up. This is a real thing called an amygdala hijack. It's your brain's fight or flight response just kicking in. And a good power-based negotiator knows that if they can get you to react emotionally, they've already won half the battle. So the first and most critical move is to not react. Ury's metaphor for this is to go to the balcony. I love this. Imagine you're literally, mentally, stepping away from the conflict on the stage and moving to a balcony that's overlooking the whole scene. You stop being an actor in the fight and you become an observer of the dynamic. From this mental balcony, you suddenly get perspective. You can calm down. You can see their attack not as some personal assault, but just as a tactic. You can refocus on the actual problem you're there to solve. And crucially, it gives you the space to take a real break if you need to. Even just saying, "Excuse me, I'm just going to grab some water," to let your rational brain catch up. Okay, so once you've got that composure, the next move is completely counterintuitive. Your gut instinct is to tell them why they're wrong and you're right, but that's just escalating. The real power move is to ask a genuine question, something as simple as,
hey, help me understand what your main concern is here, that can completely change the dynamic. It de-escalates everything and starts to uncover their true interests, the why behind their no. And this is where you use what you've learned from asking those questions. Instead of trying to push your solution across the gap, you build what Yuri calls a golden bridge. Now, the key is you start building it from their side of the river. You don't say, here's my solution, take it. You say, I heard your primary interest is making sure your team is competent. I agree. Let's work together to create a solution that guarantees that outcome. You make it easy and attractive for them to walk across the bridge that you built for them. Now, all of these techniques, going to the balcony, asking questions, building those bridges, they are all powered by one final foundational concept. It's the source of all your real strength in any negotiation.
And it's called your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. This is probably the single most important concept in all of negotiation. And it's not your bottom line. It's not the worst deal you'll accept. It's your walkaway plan. It's the best thing you will do if you don't reach a deal. You see, your power comes directly from how strong your BATNA is. If you're a trainer with a long list of other clients just waiting for you, you have a really strong BATNA. You can afford to be patient, collaborative, and hold out for a really good deal. But if you have no other clients, well, your BATNA is weak, and you're going to be tempted to accept a bad deal just out of desperation.
And this is so important. Your BATNA isn't a threat you wave around in someone's face. It's an internal source of strength. Knowing you have a solid walkaway plan gives you this quiet confidence to stay on the balcony, to be patient, and to say no to a bad deal, because you're not negotiating from a place of fear.
So the next time you are met with resistance, whether it's from a colleague, a client, or, anywhere in your life, think about these tools. The instinct, the gut reaction is always to meet force with more force, to just push harder. But the real power, the real way to get to yes, is in your ability to pause, to understand the interests behind the position, and to start building a bridge from their side.